Morning, everybody. Welcome to our devotional today. We're continuing in the book of Mark. We will be there for a good while, and we're into chapter 3. Interesting chapter. One section of this particular chapter is the naming of all the disciples that Jesus chose to follow him. The 12 disciples that became his friends, his followers. They were the ones who walked with Jesus, talked with Jesus, ate with Jesus, worked with Jesus. And they were an interesting bunch of people from every different walk of life, every different political party, every different way of life. They were all found there amongst the disciples of Jesus. But there was one who turned out to be the one that Jesus drew closest to. His name was John, and he is named among them. But there's an interesting little addition to the story of John in this little description. Jesus gives him the name Boanerges. John, he says, you will be Boanerges. You will be one of the sons of thunder. And that indicates something about John's character, don't you think? Jesus calls him out from amongst the crowd of the other disciples and gives him this nickname, as it were, Boanerges. You are the son of thunder. That's interesting, you know, because the son of thunder would be somebody who would appear to maybe have had a volatile temper, somebody who didn't have all that much self-control. Now, there's a section in the book of Luke, chapter 9, that tells you why he was called the son of thunder. Jesus was with his disciples, apparently, and they were going through the towns, and they went to a town that was predominantly owned by Samaritans. And he went and he preached the gospel, and nobody really wanted to hear anything about it. And so John, when they were leaving the town, said, Jesus, just give me 5 minutes. I'm just going to go back. If it's okay with you, I'm just going to call down lightning out of heaven, and I'm just going to ask you to flatten that bunch of Samaritans. If they don't want to listen to the message that you have, it's easy. We'll just do them in. And this was the son of thunder speaking. That's incredible. Well, you know what? In our thinking, we have this saying that says a leopard will not change and cannot change its spots. Well, that might be true of leopards, but it's not true of disciples of Jesus, because we read how John became the disciple of love. He's the one who wrote those 3 amazing books of what real love looked like. He was the one at the end of Jesus's journey who was with Jesus at the cross. He didn't run, he followed, he went with Mary. He was the one who was the closest to Jesus, and his whole nature changed. You know, we don't think people are going to change. Well, I'm going to tell you, in the hands of God and by the work of the Spirit of God, people can change. Look at the change that took place in Paul, who was once Saul. He was an arrogant persecutor of the church, and then he met Jesus, and Jesus said, no, you will no longer be called Saul. I'm going to give you a name, and you will be called Paul. And with that change of name came a change of behavior. There became a change of worldview, so much so that the man changed completely. He was still the same guy. If you passed him in the street, you'd still recognize him as the same person. But his whole temperament, his whole personality, his whole approach to life suddenly became its best. Its absolute best. And John moved from being a son of thunder to being a son of love. I've got to tell you, people, there's a God out there who can change people. Isn't it wonderful that he does that from time to time? As we allow the Spirit of God to work in us, suddenly our view of life begins to change. And with a change of mind always comes a change of behavior, because out of what we think we do, we all know that. But here's Jesus, because he drew close to this man, probably an angry man, a man who had no self-control, it would appear, a man who just wanted to blunder through life and blow up people because they didn't do what he wanted. He ultimately became the son of love. Well, maybe there's people around you, or maybe even better, yourself. You're saying, I'm never going to change, and you use that as an excuse. People, Jesus doesn't buy that excuse. You say, well, I'm just born like this. I'm just born grumpy. I'm born negative. I'm born pessimistic. I'm born arrogant. And I'm never going to change. Well, I'm not so sure about that. If you don't meet Jesus and don't allow the sanctifying work of the Holy Spirit to happen, you will die the same as you were born. But it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that at all. And with Jesus, the leopard that you are could indeed change its spots. But you've got to allow the work of the Holy Spirit to work in you. You've got to be teachable. You've got to be spending time with Jesus. It's a lot of work, but it can be done. Let's work on ourselves today, people. Let's not try and change others, because we always try to do that, aren't we? And let's see what it means to change ourselves, not through self-effort and just because of self-determination, I'm going to be a better person, but because we draw closer to Christ and because we allow the work of the Holy Spirit to do His work in us, we too could change. Have a great day. It's Friday. Find yourself at church on Sunday, people. It'll be awesome. Bye.